Who cares if I'm on vacation? I couldn't miss the first MCU movie in 2 years. Black Widow stars Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, and Rachel Weisz, and tells the story of Natasha having to deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships left in her wake long before she became an Avenger. Going into this movie, I went in with some pretty standard expectations. As this is the first MCU movie in 2 years, you obviously have that going into it, but then you also have me not being the biggest Black Widow fan. So I was hoping that this movie would really attach me to the Black Widow character, and I really wanted to see what her origin story was really all about. And I'm really pleased to say that I actually had a blast with Black Widow. Starting off with the biggest standout for me is Scarlett Johansson. She really shines in this role. Like I said, I haven't really been the biggest Black Widow fan, but I'll tell you what, in this movie she really proved to me just how good of a character Black Widow is. She adds so much to the role, and Scarlett Johansson has some great acting chops, and I feel like she doesn't really get to shine all that much. She's honestly an underrated actress, and I'm really happy that she gave such a great performance in this film. She really brought her acting chops, and I just want to see more of Scarlett Johansson. But the even bigger standouts for me are David Harbour and Florence Pugh. Great supporting performances. Florence Pugh really also gets to show off her acting chops, as well as David Harbour. They get some great comedic lines. They bring so much to their characters, and I really hope that we get to see more of David Harbour and Florence Pugh in the MCU. They brought so much to this movie, and were the biggest standouts next to Scarlett Johansson for me. Another big highlight for me in this movie were those great action sequences. They were choreographed so well and directed very well by Kate Shortland. The action sequences really had me involved, and I found myself like moving in my seat during these action sequences. Like I said, they were directed very well and choreographed very well. It was very easy to keep track of what is going on, which is honestly one of the biggest problems with action movies today. It's sometimes hard to keep track of what's going on, but because it was directed very well and edited very well, I found it very easy to keep track of what was going on, and the choreographing is just incredible. Like most of the Marvel movies, this movie is really funny, especially that banter between Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson. As Scarlett Johansson is Florence Pugh's older sibling, they have that sibling rivalry that I think most of us can all relate to. And this movie definitely has a lot of laughs. Also from David Harbour, who I said gets some great comedic lines. But that banter between Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh really was, again, another great part about this movie. The score is excellent as well and adds a lot to those action sequences. I think the biggest flaw with this movie, though, is the villains. Unfortunately, Taskmaster is pretty underused. It feels like Marvel has more in store for this character, so this might have been on purpose, but it feels that like the character was really underused. From what I've heard in the comics, Taskmaster is a really big villain and really stands out, so it was underwhelming that they didn't really let the character shine all that much. And the villains of this movie are honestly my only real flaws with it. I'm really happy that I enjoyed Black Widow. It really proved to me how good of a character this is, especially from that Scarlett Johansson performance. But everyone is just so good. Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, everyone's just so good. And Marvel honestly knocked it out of the park yet again. I'm going to give Black Widow an A-. Black Widow was an absolute blast for me, and I would love to hear what you guys thought of the movie down below in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought. Have you seen the movie? Are you anticipating this movie? And if you have seen it, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Guys, thank you again so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, do give it a like, subscribe, and make sure to turn the notification bell on to get notified whenever new videos like this go live. Like I said, I am in a different set right now, but I will be back to my normal set and the normal reviews coming next week, so definitely make sure to keep an eye out for those. Guys, thank you again so much for watching. My name is Ben. People call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.